December 17th, 1944. Over the Philippines, Major Richard Dick Bong was hunting. Not animals, Japanese aircraft. Bong sat in the cockpit of his P-38 Lightning fighter, a twin-engine, twin-boom aircraft that looked like something from a science fiction movie. He'd named it Marge after his fiancée back in Wisconsin. Below him, Japanese fighters were attacking American bombers. Bong pushed the throttles forward and dove. What happened next took less than 60 seconds. Bong lined up behind a Japanese Zero. One burst from his 4.50 caliber machine guns and 120 cannon. The Zero exploded. A second Zero turned toward him. Bong outmaneuvered it, got on its tail. Another burst. Another kill. A third Zero tried to escape. Bong chased it down, fired. The Zero went down, trailing smoke. 3 kills, 60 seconds. Just another day for America's deadliest fighter pilot. By the time Bong returned to base that day, his kill count stood at 40 confirmed Japanese aircraft, destroyed more than any other American pilot in history, more than any ace in World War I, more than anyone would achieve in World War II. But here's what made Richard Bong different from every other fighter. He wasn't naturally aggressive. He wasn't a hotshot or showboat. He didn't have a killer instinct. He was a quiet, shy farm boy from Wisconsin who had to teach himself to be aggressive in combat, who studied aerial combat like a math problem, who became deadly through discipline, practice, and an almost supernatural ability to shoot accurately while flying at 400 miles per hour. This is day 5 of 100 days of World War II heroes, and it's a completely different kind of hero story. Days 1 and 4 gave us ground combat heroes. Today we go to the sky. Today we meet the man who became America's ace of aces, not through natural aggression, but through farm boy work ethic and practice. This is the complete story of Richard Bong, the deadliest American fighter pilot who almost washed out of flight school for buzzing his girlfriend's house. The farm boy. From Wisconsin. Richard Ira Bong was born September 24th, 1920 in Superior, Wisconsin. Swedish-American family. Farming background. Quiet, hard-working people. Childhood. Growing up in rural Wisconsin shaped everything about Bong. Family farm, hard work, discipline, doing things right. 9 children total. Dick was the oldest. Father was a blacksmith and farmer. Mother was strong, religious, practical. School in one-room schoolhouse. Hunting and fishing for food. Developed shooting skills. Quiet personality, not aggressive or boastful. Good student, but not exceptional. Loved building things, models, mechanical projects. The aviation dream, what set Bong apart. He was obsessed with aviation. Built model airplanes constantly. Read every aviation magazine he could find. Dreamed of being a pilot. But flying was expensive. Farm families couldn't afford it. Seemed like an impossible dream. High school. Bong attended Poplar High School. Good, but not great student. Be average. Shy around girls. Didn't play sports. Worked on farm instead. Still building model airplane. Graduation. 1938. College Superior State Teachers College. After high school, Bong enrolled at Superior State Teachers College, now University of Wisconsin Superior, studying to be a teacher. Practical career for farm boy. Still obsessed with flying. Heard about civilian pilot training program, government program to train pilots. Applied and was accepted. First flight, 1938. At age 18, Bong took his first flight in a civilian training aircraft. His instructor later recalled, Dick was a natural. Smooth hands on the controls. Good instincts, but quiet, didn't talk much, just flew. Bong soloed after 8 hours of instruction. Average was 10, 12 hours. The decision. In 1941, with war coming, Bong faced a choice. 1. Finish college, become a teacher. 2. Join military aviation. The choice was obvious. Bong enlisted in the Army Air Corps in May 1941, 7 months before Pearl Harbor. Flight training, 1941 to 1942. Primary training, Tulare, California. Basic flight instruction. Excelled immediately. Instructors noted, excellent stick and rudder skills, calm under stress, learns quickly. Basic training, Gardena, California. More advanced flying. Introduction to military aircraft, continued to excel. Advanced training. Luke Field, Arizona. Fighter aircraft training. First time in high-performance plane. This is where Bong truly shined. The near washout incident. In May 1942, Bong did something that almost got him kicked out of the Air Corps. He was flying a P-38 Lightning, his first time in the twin-engine fighter. The P-38 was fast, powerful, and Bong was excited. He decided to buzz his girlfriend Marjorie's house. Not once, 3 times, flying under power lines at very low altitude, over a residential neighborhood. On the third pass, he flew so low he clipped tree branches with his propellers. Someone took a photograph. The photo ended up on his commanding officer's desk. Bong was called in, facing washout. Dismissal from flight training. CO. Lieutenant Bong, what the hell were you thinking? Bong. I'm sorry, sir. I was showing off for my girlfriend, and it won't happen again. CO. You're damn right it won't happen again. Because you're going to be washing out. Then the CO looked at Bong's training records. Perfect scores. Instructors raving about his ability. CO. Except you're the best damn pilot in this class. So here's what's going to happen. Instead of washing you out, I'm sending you to fighters. You want to fly low and hot? Fine. Do it in combat where it's useful. Bong was assigned to P-38 Lightning fighter training. Why the P-38? The P-38 Lightning was unlike any other WWII fighter. Design, twin engines. Most fighters had one. Twin booms, fuselage on each side. Pilots sat in central nacelle between the engines. Distinctive silhouette couldn't be mistaken for anything else. Performance, top speed, 414 miles per hour. Fast for 1942. Range? 300 plus miles. Much longer than most fighters. Ceiling, 44,000 feet. Could fly very high. Climb rate, excellent. Armament, 4.50 caliber machine guns. In nose, 120 mm cannon. In nose. All guns pointed straight ahead. No convergence issues. Devastating firepower concentrated in nose. Advantages, long range. Could escort bombers deep into enemy territory. 2 engines. If one failed, could fly home on the other. Heavy armament, fast and maneuverable. Disadvantages, complex to maintain. 2 engines, 2 of everything. Difficult to fly for inexperienced pilots. Expensive to produce. Bong loved the P-38 immediately. It fit his style, required precision and skill. He had both. Rewarded smooth flying. His trademark. Powerful enough to dominate opponents, forgiving enough to get you home if damaged. Deployment to Pacific, September 1942. After completing P-38 training, Bong was assigned to the 9th Fighter Squadron, 49th Fighter Group, and deployed to the Pacific Theater. Why the Pacific? The P-38's long range made it perfect for Pacific operations. Vast distances between islands need to escort bombers over water. Single-engine fighters often couldn't make the distances P-38 could fly for hours, fighting deep in enemy territory. First combat, December 27, 1942. Bong's first combat mission was over New Guinea. He was nervous, first time facing enemy aircraft that would shoot back. The mission: escort bombers attacking Japanese positions. Japanese Zero fighters intercepted. Bong's first combat engagement. First kill, Bong later described it. I saw a Zero coming at me. I lined up the shot just like practice, squeezed the trigger. My guns tore into him. He went down smoking. I felt nothing. No excitement, no fear. Just satisfaction that I'd done my job correctly. 1 kill. First mission. Bong had arrived. Learning to be aggressive. Early 1943. Here's the surprising thing about Richard Bong. He had to learn to be aggressive. Most successful fighter pilots were naturally aggressive. They sought out combat, took risks, pushed hard. Bong wasn't like that. He was methodical, cautious, precise. His squadron commander noticed, Bong is technically brilliant, but he's too careful. He needs to be more aggressive or he'll never be a top 8. The training program. Bong's commanders worked with him to develop aggression, study the enemy, learn Japanese tactics, understand Zero capabilities and limitations, know when you have advantage. Aggressive positioning. Don't wait for perfect shot. Press attacks. Take calculated risks. Killer instinct. When you have advantage, exploit it. Don't let damaged enemy escape. Finish what you start. Bong approached this like studying farming, methodically, carefully, with discipline. The transformation, mid-1943. By mid-1943, Bong had transformed his flying. Still technically perfect, but now aggressive when needed. Would press attacks. Took calculated risks. Developed reputation as relentless in combat. The rising count. 1943. Throughout 1943, Bong's kill count climbed steadily. March 1943, 5 kills total. April 1943, 8 kills, June 1943, 11 kills, July 1943, 16 kills, achieved ace status 5+ kills. October 1943. 21 kills, December 1943. 27 kills. By end of 1943, Bong was one of the top American aces in the Pacific. The rivalry, Thomas Maguire. Another pilot, Major Thomas Maguire, was also racking up kills in the Pacific. Maguire was naturally aggressive, the opposite of Bong's methodical approach. Media played up a rivalry between Bong and Maguire. Who would be America's top ace? Who would break Eddie Rickenbacker's WWII record, 26 kills? Truth, Bong and Maguire were friends. They respected each other. The rivalry was mostly press invention, but both men were pushing hard to increase their scores. Bong's tactics. What made Bong so deadly? Several factors, or one. Marksmanship. Bong was an exceptional shot. Hunting background. Shooting moving targets. Practiced constantly understood. Deflection shooting. Leading target. Could hit targets while pulling high G forces, rarely wasted ammunition. Most pilots would fire long bursts and hope to hit. Bong would fire short, precise bursts that destroyed targets with minimal ammunition. 2. Situational awareness. Bong had exceptional awareness of battlefield. Always knew where enemy aircraft were tracked. Multiple targets simultaneously anticipated. Enemy movements, positioned himself for advantage before engaging. 3. Energy management. Fighter combat is about energy, speed, and altitude. Bong understood energy better than most pilots would build speed/altitude before engaging. Used dive speed to overtake enemies. Converted speed to altitude when needed. Never let himself get slow and vulnerable. 4. Deflection, shooting. Most difficult gunnery skill, shooting a moving target while you're also moving. Required calculating lead. How far ahead to aim. Different for every angle and speed, Bong had almost intuitive feel for deflection. Could hit targets in hard maneuvering situations. 5. Patient. Despite aggressive flying, Bong was patient. Wouldn't force attacks when conditions weren't right, would break off and reposition if needed. Waited for high percentage shots. Didn't take unnecessary risks. 6. Aircraft knowledge. Bong knew his P-38 intimately. Its strengths, speed, climb, firepower, range. Its weaknesses, roll rate, diving, how to maximize its advantages, how to minimize its disadvantages. Against Japanese Zeros, Zero was more maneuverable in turning fight, but P-38 was faster in straight line. And dive, Bong avoided turning fights. Zero's strength. Used hit-and-run tactics, P-38's strength. Boom and zoom dive, attack, climb away using speed. Breaking Rickenbacker's record, April 12, 1944. Eddie Rickenbacker was America's top WWII ace with 26 confirmed kills. His record had stood for 25 years. On April 12, 1944, Bong shot down his 26th and 27th Japanese aircraft, breaking Rickenbacker's record. The press went wild. Bong was national hero. Bong's reaction: I was just doing my job. A lot of other pilots are doing the same thing. I just got lucky more often. Heading home. May 1944. At 27 kills, the Army decided Bong was too valuable to risk losing. They ordered him home for war bond tours and publicity. Bong didn't want to leave. My squadron needs me. The war isn't over. But orders were orders. Bong returned to the United States as a celebrity. Marriage, February 10th, 1945. During his stateside tour, Bong married his longtime girlfriend, Marge Vattendahl, the woman whose house he'd buzzed in 1942. The wedding was major news. America's ace marrying his sweetheart. Return to combat, late 1944. Bong requested return to combat. The Army agreed, but with restrictions. No more than 40 kills. Then permanent stateside duty. Reduced mission tempo. Avoid unnecessary risks. Bong returned to the Pacific in October 1944. The final missions, December 1944. December 15th, 1944. Kill number 38, December 17th, 1944. Kills number 39 and number 40. After his 40th kill, Bong was grounded permanently. The Army couldn't risk losing America's ace of aces. Final tally, 40 confirmed kills, official, likely 2. 3 more unconfirmed 200-plus combat missions, never shot down, never bailed out, never wounded in combat. Always brought his aircraft home. Home for good. December 1944. Bong returned to the United States permanently. His combat career was over. What he wanted. Bong wanted to continue serving, became test pilot for new aircraft, helping develop jets, the future of aviation. could still fly, still serve without combat risks. August 6, 1945, the day that changed everything. August 6, 1945. Two critical events. Morning, Hiroshima. The atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan. The war would end within days. Afternoon, Burbank, California. Richard Bong was test flying a new Lockheed P-80 Shooting Star, America's first operational jet fighter. Bong took off from Burbank Airport, climbed to altitude, began test maneuvers. What went wrong? At approximately 2:30 p.m., at about 300 feet altitude, Bong's P-80 suffered catastrophic engine failure. The engine quit completely. Bong tried to restart, failed. He tried to glide back to airport. Too low, too slow. He had one option: bail out. Bong jettisoned the canopy and attempted to eject. The tragedy: the P-80's ejection system failed, or Bong was too low for the parachute to deploy fully. Accounts vary. Either way, Richard Bong, who'd survived 200-plus combat missions, who'd shot down 40 enemy aircraft, who'd never been hit in combat, died in a peacetime training accident. He was 24 years old. He'd been married less than 6 months. The crash investigation concluded: primary fuel pump failure. Auxiliary fuel pump failed to engage, engine starved of fuel, no pilot error. Mechanical failure killed America's ace. The irony: the man who'd survived years of combat against Japanese fighters, who'd been shot at thousands of times, and who'd faced death repeatedly, was killed by a mechanical failure in a peacetime test flight. The day the atomic bomb ended the war was the day America lost its greatest fighter pilot. The funeral, August 11th, 1945. Bong was buried with full military honors at Poplar Cemetery, Wisconsin. Thousands attended. The nation mourned. General George Kenney, Bong's commanding general, gave the eulogy. Dick Bong was the best fighter pilot I ever knew. He was brave without being reckless, aggressive without being foolish, deadly without being cruel. America has lost not just a great pilot, but a great man. Marjorie Bong. Bong's widow, Marjorie, never remarried. She lived until 2003, age 88, preserving her husband's legacy and memory. The legacy: America's ace of aces. Richard Bong's 40 confirmed kills remains the American record. No U.S. pilot in World War II exceeded it. No U.S. pilot since has matched it. Korea, Vietnam, later conflicts combined. His record will likely never be broken. Modern air combat too different. Awards and honors. Military Medal of Honor, America's highest award. Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, 2. Distinguished Flying Cross, 7. Air Medal, 15. Purple Heart, not awarded, never wounded. Memorials: Richard Vs. Bong, Memorial Bridge, Duluth, Minnesota, Bong State Recreation Area, Wisconsin. Richard Vs. Bong Veterans Historical Center, Superior, Wisconsin. Numerous streets, buildings, and facilities named for him: P-38 Marge, displayed at National Museum of USAF, replica. Why Bong matters. Richard Bong represents something important. You don't have to be naturally aggressive to be deadly effective. You can be quiet, methodical, and disciplined and still dominate. Comparison to other aces: Eddie Rickenbacker, WWII, 26 kills, aggressive personality, showman Thomas Maguire, Portuda 2. 38 kills, naturally aggressive, killed in combat, Pappy Boyington, Portuda 2. 28 kills, aggressive, confrontational personality, Richard Bong, 40 kills, quiet, methodical, disciplined. Bong proved there's more than one path to excellence. The farm boy. Philosophy: Bong approached combat flying like farming. Learn the fundamentals. Practice until perfect. Work hard every day. Don't take shortcuts. Do the job right. Stay humble. Help your neighbors. Wingmen. This farm boy work ethic made him deadlier than naturally aggressive pilots. The numbers: combat record, total kills, 40 confirmed, likely 42, 43 total. Combat missions: 200-plus combat hours, 500-plus hours. Times shot down, 0 times wounded, 0 times bailed out in combat, 0 aircraft lost in combat, 0 kill breakdown by aircraft. Type: a 6M0 fighters, 21 Ki-43, Oscar fighters, 8 Ki-61, Tony fighters, 5 bombers, and others. 6. Time to ace status: 4 months, 5 kills. Time to top ace: 22 months, 27 kills. Breaking Rickenbacker's record. Total time: 25 months from first kill to final kill. Missions per kill: 5.0. Very efficient. Many aces needed 10, 15 missions per kill. The what if? If Bong hadn't been killed in 1945, he was only 24 decades of life ahead, could have led jet fighter development, could have flown in Korea, could have shaped U.S. Air Force doctrine, could have mentored generations of fighter pilots. His death robbed America of one of its greatest aviation minds. December 17th, 1944, over the Philippines. 3 Japanese aircraft in 60 seconds. Kill number 38. Kill number 39. Kill number 40. America's ace of aces. 40 confirmed kills. Never shot down. Never wounded. Always brought his plane home. A quiet farm boy from Wisconsin who became the deadliest American fighter pilot in history. Not through natural aggression. Through discipline, practice, work ethic. Farm boy values applied to aerial combat. That's Richard Bong. The man who proved you don't have to be the loudest or most aggressive to be the most effective. The hero who survived 200 combat missions only to die in a peacetime test flight the day the atomic bomb ended the war. 40 kills, 24 years old, gone too soon. But the record stands. America's ace of aces. Forever.